this is a Discord bot. We're about maybe halfway through or a third of the way through writing this thing. It's supposed to help people with doing Pomodoro on a Discord server. They type in /pomo start, and then there's a parameter for work duration, which can be like 25. I think the official time is supposed to be um, 25 minutes. And then the break is like whatever, 5 or 10 minutes, and then you just kind of repeat over and over. When the timer goes off, the creator of the timer will be tagged in a message. So they'll get a message saying, hey, your timer's done, and then you'll get two buttons to say, do you want to do a break now, or do you want to start another work cycle? And if you don't click it ever, then that just means your timer's over. This will start a timer based on what they set for work and break in the initial message. There can only be one Pomodoro timer at a time per user, and users can start a new timer only after the original timer has gone off. So you can't do this like twice in a row and start two timers. So that's what we have. And so far what we've done is, let me see. Nostrum on version 0.10 wasn't even starting even on a container, had to use, oh yeah, so you're the one, just a different name. Retro was it? That was like having problems. I think we're using Nostrum 10. Let's see here. Mix. Yeah, we're using version 10. I don't know why it wasn't working for you. It's so weird. But yeah, I don't know why that would be. So what we have so far is oh, I don't have chat in here. Let me add that. All right, here we go. Hopefully that's not, let's make it a little shorter. Let's see, mine is, all right, so maybe like this. That should be all right. Okay, so let's go look at where we were. So what's a good place to start? The consumer is what kind of starts off Nostrum. It gets run off of application here, where we start the Pomodoro consumer as a child. And it handles events that it gets here, the ready event, the handle events for interaction create is when we get a like a slash command message. And that's when we create this like work, and we parse out the work and the break duration, and then we try to start the timer. We start it as a gen server, but if it doesn't start, that's okay. And then we go ahead and start the timer. And then we acknowledge the message by sending a response in the same channel. So that's how that works. And we register the command that we're interested in, which is called pomo start. And we gave it a description, and we have two options, work and break, which are integers. So you see that type here says integer, and we create that guild application command. So when we try that out, we're here on Discord, and over here we can do slash. Oh, you guys don't see this very well. How do I do this better? Maybe it's better if we're on top. Right? Maybe that's better, because at least now you can see the bottom. So here I type /pomo start. That's the command that we set up. We set up, oh, I need to start the bot. There, it's running. See, it got the ready event, no problem. Work 10 minutes, break 10 minutes. And here it actually said that it gave me the response that was over here. Timer start command received, elapsed time equals elapsed time. And we got the elapsed time from the time when we started the timer. So now if I do it again, Pomo start, whatever number I give it here, it's going to tell me the elapsed time in seconds. It's been 20 seconds since I started it. So that's kind of all there now. My next work that I wanted to do, let's see, to-do list. Keep track of channel in state. That's not super important. Keep track of break time. Not super important. Let's do this. This has the biggest bang for the buck. Send timer is up message when timer is done. So we basically are going to wait however long that is. And then we'll send a message saying, hey, your timer's done, right? So that's something we want to do. Yeah. So in order to do that, this is funny, I don't like us on top now when we're looking at the browser though, right? It's so annoying. Well, nothing to be done about it now. So let's go look at our timer server. Here it is. And you can see the state. This is the state. It has the user ID, the start timer in seconds. This is when the timer started. Here, let's document this. Is there like a struct? No. Module doc. I guess we can use module doc. Alright, so we'll write down that our state is user ID, which is the Discord user ID. We have start time in seconds. This is the timer started via, and what was it that we're using? We're using system monotonic time. In seconds. And then we have work duration, how long the work timer lasts, break duration minute, how long the break timer lasts. Okay, so at least we have this information. Let's move this down here. Okay. And we're gonna have to start a real timer when we get start timer here. We handle call start timer here. This is when we get the current time. This is when we have to start a timer. So we need to there's a way to send a message after a certain amount of time has passed in Elixir. And I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it's send after. Yeah, there it is. So there is, where is it now? Send after. Here we go. Send after, you give it the process ID. Sends message to destination after time milliseconds. So what we should do is here send a message to ourselves after timer is done. And here we do, this is part of the process module you see over here, kind of. No, you can't see over here. I'm gonna move us down again. Okay. So here you see this is part of process, and there's send after. So we're gonna call process dot send after, and we give it the destination, and you can give, there's something called self that allows you to send a message to yourself, and we're going to send a message here, and the message could be anything, right? So we'll make a message called we'll make a tuple called like timer's up, and let's just send that for now. And then it has time. This is how long in milliseconds we want to wait, right? So let's do work duration. Here's duration in minute that we're passing in, right? So we'll do duration minute, and 1 minute has 60 seconds. And we need it to be in milliseconds, so we multiply it by 1,000. So this means seconds, and in 1 second there are 1,000 milliseconds, so that should be good. This is going to be a long wait to debug, so we'll probably make this a lot shorter just for debugging purposes. So I'll do that now. I'll make a version in here where we just wait, let's say we wait 3 seconds, right? We'll wait 3 seconds, and then we'll get a message that the timer's going to be hard-coded here to always be up in 3 seconds, and then we'll see that at least that this part works. Yeah, sometimes you see me like kind of look somewhere else. It's just because I just want to make sure that I'm not screwing anything up with the stream. I do that a lot. All right, so now we're sending a message. Obviously, we have to handle that message, right? So let us do that here. Def, and when you send this kind of a message to yourself, it's going to come in as an info message. And I'm trying to remember what info gets the message, so we'll expect a, what's it called? The message is called timers up. This is the message we'll expect to get, and then we'll get the state. And we'll just make an error, we'll just do a logging message for now that says logger.debug timer server, timer is up, state is equal to, and then we'll print out this current state just so that we can see it. So this is inspect state, comma, label, no, pretty equals true. Okay. Pretty true just means it's easier for us to see. I think that's it, right? So now when we run, when we type in Pomodoro, whatever we start, it's 3 seconds later going to send a time's up message, and then we're going to print out this message. So that's what we should see happen. Cool, thanks Kingo. Alright, so let's see if I actually can compile this. Module impulse not used. Impl true. This just tells it that we are implementing this function. And let's put it after the handle calls, because in general it wants all the functions with the same names together. So you see we have handle call here, we have another handle call, now we do handle info. So these handle calls, it kind of, Elixir thinks of these as one function. It's just that there's matching for it. So like, hey, does it match with this one signature or that signature? Alright, so here's that. Now let's try compiling it. Redefining module doc previously at line 2. Oh. where do we have, oh, we have this module doc. Okay, let's get rid of the, let's just join it here. And now we can get rid of this one. Alright, so now it compiles. Now we can start this. I have to remember to keep better posture. I'm always so bad. Alright, so now we can go into here. You know what? What I'll do is I'll make two scenes so that I can kind of jump between the two really easily, and the chat will be in just different places. So let me duplicate this one, and I'll call it chat top. Alright, so now we're in chat top, and in this version we'll be up here. Okay. Except why are there two of these? Okay, so here's the bottom one. Aha, there's two restreams. That's weird.
What the fuck?
Okay, so now, and this is on top. Alright, that looks good, right? A little bit easier. So now when we're on top, you can see Discord better. And I'm going to forget to change it, I'm sure. Pomodoro start work is, we'll call it 3 seconds, even though it's minutes, and 3 minutes here. So you see 1, 2, 3. Oops, look, we got a problem here. Let's see. Timer's up, state equals. Oh, we didn't return correctly. So let's look up what handle info is supposed to return. Handle info. Why don't you take... I don't understand. Why can't they just take me where I need to be? By the way, remember I said I was like not... Remember I said before I don't like it. I was like totally not excited about programming. I didn't want to do anything. Like now I'm getting into it. I'm like getting mad. You ever get mad while you're programming? You're like, fuck you, what's wrong with you, you stupid compiler? That's when you know you're doing well, you know? Sneak in 2 hours. Sneak in 2 hours, 2 hours of light workout during your week, and you won't be worried about posture. 2 hours? Are you kidding me? Does walking count? I walk to the train. The idea of working out for 2 hours, I think that will make me cry. Alright, so Kingo, what do you program in? What do you do? Tell me. Alright, so now we have to return handle info. You see here, it's always a little weird to read Elixir stuff. So here, this is the first thing is the message, and then the state, and then you get 2 colons, which means this is the return stuff. No reply, no reply, no reply, no reply. Yeah, so we're gonna give no reply. Handle info. Here we go. Handle info. We have to do, what we have to return is no reply, comma, new state. And our new state's just going to be the old state. Right? Okay. So now let's run again. Go over here. And started learning Python for data analysis last month. Still in the basics. Cool, super cool. Python's a great language. Is that your first language? That's like a really good language to learn programming with. Alright, so here we are. Now I can run start pomo start 10 10, and now it'll run here. You see, now we wait 3 seconds, and here we go. Timer's up. Pomodoro server. Here's our state. State is start time when it started, work duration, nil, right? But what we probably should do in here is, because the timer is up, we want the state to be updated to be the old state, except that the start time second is equal to nil again. No, we don't use equals in Elixir. We do this. So this is resetting the start time to 0, saying that we don't know, it's not running anymore. That's what nil means. So we'll put that down here. When the timer is done or not active, this value is nil. 15 minutes isn't too bad, right? 15 minutes of workout. Could be worse. What do I have to do? Do I have to like go out and run or what? All right, so you can see here now that we've sent this message and we have the new state.
2 weeks?
We should probably, yeah, that's okay. Elapsed time, reply, new state. So here we are resetting the, that's not it. I'm not even looking at the right thing. Here we go. Timer is up. So now when we get this, we should print out a message to the user, right? And say, hey, your timer's up. Like, it's nice that we print it out to ourselves, but we should print out a message to the user too. So in order to do that, we need to add the channel to our state, because otherwise we won't know where to send it to. Come on, auto format. Do something. Why are you being so difficult? All right. It's just getting long, so it looks ugly. Some basic stretches. I do stretches every day. I do like 2 minutes of stretches on my legs. Maybe 10 half push-ups, and you're good for the, that's it? Oh, okay, I can, but that's not 15 minutes. 10 push-ups is like, it'll take me 10 seconds or, you know, whatever, a minute. Let's do channel ID. Right, so we'll store channel ID. We'll just stick with the thing here where we do nil. No, this one we'll know as soon as we create one of these guys. So here we go. Start link. We should get passed in the user ID.
C'est pas genre ça sonne comme du D&D quand même.
I think we can send a tuple in here, right? Start link. Let's look.
I knew it.
What did you know?
Qu'ils sont en train de jouer à D&D.
Who is?
The emergency call. They called because he got his axe stolen. But it's not a real emergency.
Oh, okay. So the init arc could be anything. So we're going to pass in start link. We're going to pass in user ID and channel ID here when we try to start the link. And then we got to pass both in here also, because start link's going to call init. Right, channel ID. Where is integer user ID and is integer channel ID? This is a guard, so it just helps us make sure that we have the right thing here. Is integer channel ID. Alright, so we have this now. Now, if I try to compile this, I wonder if it'll give me a failure. Okay, syntax error. Right, that is an error. Does anyone know why? It's because this is a map, so the syntax should be with a %sign before it. And thank you, new state should be returned. That would have been a bad bug. Alright, so now we have that working, but when we start our timer server, that happens inside of supervisor here, where we start the timer server. And so far we're only passing the user ID and channel ID, so we user ID, so we need to pass the channel ID also. And we're using dialyzer here, so let's do nostrum.struct.channel.id. That will tell it that it should be a user ID. And then we do start child user ID. Instead, we're gonna make this. I think I'm doing something wrong. There we go. User ID, comma, channel ID here. Is that right? That looks funky. Why is this? Oh, why is this all funky here? Why do I have two?
Ouais, je mets l'hélicoptère de police sur l'excès de vitesse là.
Start child. This opens the Pomodoro timer. Then we open this list. We have to close the list here.
Oh là là.
Mismatch delimiter, unexpected token, close paren.
Il veut pas d'ambulance? Pourquoi il me demande pas une ambulance?
Here, it doesn't like this one. Why? Open paren, open, start this guy. Then we have a list. I'm confused. Is this the start child format? We're looking at timer server supervisor. Start link. This is it here. Yeah, this was never a list. Somehow I typed something wrong and I turned this into a list. So let's fix that. This was never a list. So here we don't need, oops. We don't need that. So now we need to close that, and then we need to close it again. And then we close the parentheses. There we go. I don't know why that was so confusing. I think I went into some other mode and that was really weird. Alright, so here we go. I think this will start the chat with channel ID inside of it. And so when we look at timer server in here, when it starts up, timer server init arg equals, aha. Let's call this equals init arg. And that way we can just inspect init arg and we'll be able to see it. init arg. So we'll see something that says error. Let's turn this to debug. Timer server start link, and we'll see the user ID and channel ID now being passed into the server. Where is this? Start timer, user ID, line 36 in consumer. Start timer server, right. We need to pass user ID and channel ID. And what's the channel ID here? We're not grabbing the channel ID, right? So we have to find the channel ID. And the channel ID is part of the interaction. So let's go look at that interaction. That's part of the Nostrum documentation. So we do interaction. Here's an interaction. And we see in here that in an interaction we have something called channel. So let's go grab the channel. And what is the channel? Oh no, there's something called channel ID in fact, so that's even better. Channel ID, and this will be our channel ID. Right? So we're going to grab the channel ID out of it. And now we can save that when we start the timer. Start timer. Server. Channel ID.
Alors, Washington.
So you see here that when we start the server, it basically will use the channel ID there.
Alors, c'est la capitale des États-Unis d'Amérique. Dans cette ville, non seulement se trouve le président, mais aussi la majorité de la vie politique du pays, les représentants influents d'autres nations, les lobbyistes travaillant pour les multinationales et les journalistes curieux.
Wow, you learn something every day.
Hein?
You learn something every day.
Bien que plusieurs organismes d'application, des lois fédérales y aient leur siège, comme le Federal Bureau
FBI.
of Investigation ou la Drug Enforcement Administration, Washington n'est pas le meilleur endroit pour vivre. Le taux de criminalité est nettement plus faible que dans les années 90, mais il y a encore des quartiers dangereux une fois la nuit tombée. Par exemple, Ward
So that
8.
compiled. Now I can run it.
Chaque devoir dans cette ville afin de procéder.
And now I should be able to
en cas de brûlure sévère, appelez
run a
le
command.
numéro d'urgence local. Sachez qu'après le 911 fonctionne.
Oops, didn't like it.
En Europe.
What didn't it like? Start timer, function clause state error. Init arg equals is the ID. Here's the channel ID. Oh, probably because now that we're passing it as a tuple, we're not using it right. Let's find out. 1 second. Let's follow this through. So this must be in the timer server. This gets the user ID and the channel ID. And then what do we do here? Ah, so here we need to pass in the init arg. Because start link needs to pass this to here. You see, it's going to call init with that init arg in here. So that's what we need to do here. So we have start link init arg. Do we see that? Start link. Here it is. Start link init arg, and we see the two numbers. So that's good. And this is the channel ID ending in 0355. So if I go over here and I copy the channel ID, it should be 0355. You see that? Elise, are you French? No, I speak French and I live in France, but I am not French. Why? How do you know? What's that face you're making? Alright.
J'ai ma tête de tous les jours. Alors, police.
We're just going to try it again now that we're passing the arguments correctly. There we go. That seemed to work. Oh crap, the channel ID is not set. So when we go into init, we need to set the channel ID. Of our state. You see here? And then at least our channel ID will be set. It's amazing how little things I do right the first time. Alright, so now we'll see the channel ID. There we go, channel ID. You see our channel ID is now set in there. And we got the timer is up message. So now when we get the timer is up message, let's print a message out on this channel, okay? So we'll go back to our handle info here. Really, like if I weren't so lazy, these should be functions, but I'm just putting everything in here because that's how we are. And we're going to create a message to print. That's where we go into the Nostrum APIs. We go here, API, so we click Open API here. We click Open Nostrum API, Functions. And under Functions, wait, why doesn't it show? Here we go. I think we want Create Message. Here we go, Create Message, right? So let's do this. So we do Nostrum dot API dot create message, and now we have to pass the channel ID, which should be in here, right? So we'll just give it a little bit of help here by saying module. This is saying that this is the struct of the module. It's going to be this thing over here, def struct. And that will allow me to use autocomplete here so it can see channel ID. So there is the channel ID, and then we can give it a message. So timer is up, right? So we'll do this. This is the simplest kind of message. We can make embeds, we can add buttons, we can do all sorts of stuff, but let's do the really easy version right now and just test that this works. So let's see here. Pomo 1010. It did this thing, and now we wait 3 seconds. Timer's up. You see, there it goes. So it kind of works. Let's ping the user so that whoever started it gets pinged for it. I always forget how you ping a user, but you just, it's pretty easy. Yeah, it is message formatting. That's not it. Documentation, search, message formatting. And this is the thing you want here. When you want to mention a user, it looks like this. So what we'll do here is we'll say, hey, comma, and we need to put in their ID here, right? Timer is up. So we need to replace this ID with their user ID. And so I'll remove this and I'll use string interpolation and I'll put in state.user ID, right? So now this will put in their user ID there. And let's try running this. Well, it looks terrible on the browser, huh? All right. Pomo 1010, wait 3 seconds. Hey Serene, timer's up. See that? Yeah, that works. So we know now that we can ping a user, right? So where's our to-do list? Send timer up as message when timer is done. Keep track of channel. Keep track of button time. Break time. Let's not worry about that now. Let us now add this, which is basically they can click a button that says, all right, it's over, but I want to do a break now, or I want to do work again. So let's do that next, okay? We're going to have to add buttons. All right, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick, and I'll be right back. I just realized that we have a problem while in the bathroom because you can only add buttons to slash messages on Discord if I'm correct. So that means that if you look at the Discord documentation here, message components, so you have all of these things. where you can add like buttons and everything. They probably show pictures here somewhere. Yeah, you see all these buttons and everything. Like this. You ever see those kind of messages? You can only get these if responding to an user interaction is the only way to do it. I don't think you can do this. Right, components are a field on the message, so you can use them whenever you're sending message, or responding to a slash command. So maybe we're okay? I thought there was a problem. Maybe I'm just misremembering. Alright, let's try it. We'll see what happens. So, it's a little annoying. I remember this part is annoying. Just because it's not, either it's not intuitive or it looks really ugly. Something. I'm gonna get more soda. How's your 911 going, Shuggy?
So far, so good.
You want Pringles?
No thanks.
Alright, so have some soda now. Are you guys writing Discord bots or you're just chilling? What's going on? Why are you guys here? Get off my lawn!
Oh là là.
I wonder how long this Discord thing's gonna be snowing. You see the snow on the Discord page? I wonder if it's gonna go up through March or something. Alright. Let us try to add a button. So we need a component on the message object. Nostrum API, create message. Message type. Options. Options content. Nonce TTS file. Embeds. Message reference. So then where is... Here's where you have an embed. But where do you have components? Let's see where components exist on Nostrum. Here we go. Struct component. Oh, message components. Alright, so we have something called components here. Components. Message component. A component adds to a message. See the Discord component documentation. Alright, so I just have to figure out how to attach one of these components to a message then. So here's a message. Attachments, components. So I guess we just add it to the components field. List of components. And this is a message struct. So when I do create message, it says create message, channel ID or message T, options,
Oh,
options will be used as the message's content.
fuck. Le fire is spreading, donc je pense que c'était pas la bonne solution.
I think that you
Ouais,
can
c'est pas
add
de dans le log. Et mais surtout l'appel, je sais pas où il était l'appel, donc elle s'est
components
reliée
right
elle-même.
into the options. So let's take a look at Nostrum here
Elle s'en sort pas là.
in create message. And you see here it says create message and then content and then we have
ça, y est,
options. So here is create message, new map options. Now here are options,
Là, ils vont
prepared
pas
allowed
passer la
mentions,
c'était sûr.
combine embeds, combine files, request post, channel message, channel ID options.
Il me faut une ambulance. Ah putain. Ils sont tous morts.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's...
putain, ils sont morts.
I guess it'll work because then the post will just have options, right? Allowed mentions. Options equals prepared allowed mentions. These will just turn things into mentions. Yeah, I think so. So let's try that out. So how does this work? We have options now. So we'll say content options is equal to, and it's a map. And we'll have content, which is a string. So here is where it's like, here is my content, right? And we don't need files. We can have an embed in here. Do we need that now? No, let's try adding the components. So let's see, Discord here, Discord message, message object has content. You see that's the string that's here. And then we have something called components, right? Components. Sent if the message contains components like buttons. 2. Why does it have 2 here? Let's look. An app will receive empty values while poll will be emitted. Okay, so that's fine. So we're going to add components in here, and this is an array of message components, right? So let's figure out what message component should look like. An action row. So that was part of message components here. Components, message component. Here we go. Here's the different kinds of components. Yeah, this is why it's annoying. Now I remember, because there's like row components. There's like, you see there's different kinds of components here, like action row, button, whatever. And the first one needs to be an action row. So to set that up was a little annoying. I forget. There's something called action row we can add. Yeah, I think we can just do this. And now we're going to add an action row here. So we do nostrum dot struct dot component dot action row. Let's see. Oh, create an empty action row. That's what we want. Dot action row, and this will just create an empty action row. So where does it say what this returns? Seems kind of weird that doesn't like tell you what it returns, right? Let's see here. Action row. Yeah, it doesn't really say what it returns here, but it'll be an action row. So here's an action row that's empty. And now inside the action row, we want to create something else, right? Appends a button to the action row. Nostrum dot struct dot component dot action row dot append. So now we're going to add a button here. But now we have to create a button. Here's a button. Button, create a button. Button is equal to nostrum dot struct dot component dot button dot create dot button. And it has options. I think we want an interaction button, right? Let's look. Buttons, buttons are interactive components. They have a type 2. Clicked on it. Only interaction buttons will fire an interaction when pressed. That's what we want. So, interaction buttons. Yeah, that's what we want. So we do that by calling interaction button here. Interaction button. And it needs a label. What is a label? God, it doesn't tell us, so this kind of sucks. Let's do label, custom ID, and let's see the code. Label is what? Ah, come on. Okay, so we're just going to have to rely on Discord documentation, action rows, custom ID, buttons. Here we go. Type, integer, style, label is a string. So this is going to be a string, and custom ID is a string. So we're going to pass two strings in here. We'll call it label, and we'll call it, what was the second thing called? Custom ID. This way we'll see like where they show up in the button. Actually, I know custom ID is going to be the name of the button. So that's what's going to be passed around later. Erlang with types, sort of types, right? Yeah. So here's our button. We really should start creating some aliases here. Label and custom ID, and then we're creating content options here where we made an action row and we added one button to it. So now our content options should be something we should be able to send here. Right? Content options. So there we go. I think that will work. Let's see if the compiler thinks this is actually valid. Yeah, well, it thinks we're okay, so how wrong can we be, right? Let us now try to run it. So what should we see? When we type this, we should see a button after we do Pomodoro, right? No, when it's over, we'll get this message that says timer is up, and then we'll get a button. So let's see how that works. This is where things can go terribly wrong, because every time we deal with interactions, it gets all messy. Look at that. Look, I got a button. See? Look how cute that is. Do you see that? So there's our label. You see that over here we passed in something called label. So when we click on it, it fails because we don't have a handler for it yet. This is better than I thought it would be. So let's change this label to basically restart timer. And then the custom ID, we'll give it a name called like work timer. Right? So that just means that like they want to start a work timer. So let's just call it start work timer for now. Okay. Restart work timer. Alright, so now when I run this again, you should see that Pomo start 10:10. I do this and it'll give me a button called restart work timer. Restart work timer. Let's add another button called start break timer, right? Instead of restart, let's just call it start because it's just English. So this is our work button. And then we have our, we have our break button. And this one is going to say start break timer. And this custom ID is going to be start break timer. We should probably have this as constants. So we'll do start work button name. And this is called start work timer. Start break button name. Start break timer. Right? And then so now in here we can use that here. At start whoops. No, I meant work. This one is the start worked button name. And then the break timer here is the break name. Start break timer. There we go. No. I put it in the wrong place. This is the English. Here's where I'm supposed to replace it. Start break timer. And this one says start work timer. And here we replace this with start work. Why? Oh. Right? Whoops. Start work button name. There we go. Let's just make sure that we didn't break things while we did this. Because I'm not writing unit tests or anything else like this. Button, yeah, we changed name. So here we go. This is work button, right? And we'll also add break button. I think we should be able to chain these together because append should probably return the action row. Let's see. Returns action row unchanged, or if, well, I think it'll return the action row. And the easy way to test this is to go ahead and try. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Start work timer, start break timer. We got those two buttons, right? So now we have to write handlers for those two buttons. The work timer will just start a new, it'll just do it again. It'll start the timer again. All right, we're almost getting to something that works. How you guys doing? I wonder why I can't get any of these, like, someone followed and, like, I don't even get a message or anything. I have to figure out how to make that work. Okay, so where are we? I think I'm just like getting mental energy to write a new handler. And that's going to be in consumer because that's where all the messages go. And this is the first interaction command. We're going to need another one, I think. Interaction create. There's kind of like a way to cheat here, and like if we just write like, here's what I'm gonna do. I want to show this. So we're gonna do def handle event. We're gonna write the default event handler here because if it didn't match any of the other ones, let's go ahead and say we're doing it here. So here we're getting what? A message and the WS state. Or I guess this is really the message or the event. I don't know what to call this. Let's. They call it handle event, and it's an event, and event is any one of these things. And if we look at one of these, it's just this thing. Yeah, so these are events. So, oh, channel create dot 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 dot, and this is inside of it? I'm confused now. Interaction create, here it is. Interaction create is interaction create, comma. This is the message here. So they're all gonna look like a tuple, a 3 tuple. I think they all look like a 3 tuple. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think they're all gonna be 3 tuple. So anyway, we'll call this the actual event. And what it does is it's just going to print out that it got an event and that it didn't know how to handle it. So we do logger.error handle event got unknown event. Or maybe we could do something like not handling event. And then here we do inspect event, comma. It's a little maybe hard to read, so we'll do pretty equals true. All right. And this should let us see when we press the button that we don't have an event handler for, that we'll see what the event is. That'll let us know how to structure our handler. So already we see that there's a bunch of events that we don't know how to handle, like user update events, blah, blah, blah. But that's okay. Now we're going to go and send our message. Pomodoro start 10:10. And now we have this. I click on the work timer, and then you see here that it got. Oh my god, it's long. Here, let me quit out of this so it doesn't keep sending more messages. Not handling presence update, that's not what we cared about. Not handling user update, that's not what we cared about. Here it is. Look at all this. That is a long message. Not handling interaction event, interaction create, struct interaction. So that's like this here, right? You see that? So it's going to look something like this. And you see the data here has the custom ID is start work timer. So let's match that in here. What's it called? Custom ID is equal to, and we're going to use, oh, I don't have this thing in here. Damn it. We're going to have to export that in here. We're going to export this by making a function. Do I need an end? I don't think I need an end in this kind of format, right? Oh, this should actually be called start break button name. This is a function. It's going to return this. Oops. Let's see if this compiles. I think I can do this like this. Yeah. And now I should be able to go into consumer and call, what was that? Timer server? Yeah. Timer server dot, what was it called? Start work button name. That was in the timer server, right? Yeah. Start work. Why is it not finding? That is weird. That didn't find it, so I'm a little worried about this. It can't find it. Probably because it uses the same name as the attribute. So let me call this get. And maybe that'll be better. Still not finding it. Why is it not finding this function? Oh, not here. What am I doing? That's really weird. Let's see if it compiles. It probably will say it can't find it. Cannot invoke remote function get start work button name inside of a match. Ah, right. Right, it can't do matches this way. Damn it. I don't know how to get around this. something I don't like. Maybe there's a way around this that I just don't know. Start work timer. If you guys are good with Elixir and you know a way around this so that I don't have to hard code this, let me know how. Anyway, so now here we are in a function that should handle when we click the start work timer button. And then we saw the data down here somewhere, right? All of this. We have the data here, start work timer, component type 2, channel. But we don't need any of this data. Sometimes, buttons need to pass state or something, but like none of that matters to us. We have the user ID and the fact that it's a button. Now we can basically send a message to our timer server and tell it to restart the timer. So let us, but then let's assume here, we'll do to do, send message to timer server, requesting to restart work timer, right? But then we're going to respond to this guy, and remember how we did it last time. We did it like this. Acknowledge command, kind of similar to that. And I kind of think it's the same thing. Oh, no, we need a different content here. We'll say
Yay.
restarting timer. Not really doing it yet. Alright, so now when I click that button, I should see a message that says restarting timer. The only problem here is that we're going to send this message even if the person who clicked on the button is not the user who created it. So let's make another to do here. Check if user who clicked on button is the same as the original timer's user ID. You get that? So in the timer server, it keeps track of who clicked on it first. So here we go. But anyway, let's see if this compiles. User ID is unused, data is unused, channel ID is unused. Yeah, all of these things I'm not using right now. But I will be using user ID, so let's keep it. I am not using data, right? And I'm not using channel ID, I'm using interaction. Let's see, yeah, I'm using interaction. So I think this will be good. Alright, so those are just messages. Let's get rid of that handler, it's kind of annoying. Let's get rid of this logger, the default logger. And now I can do /pomo1010. It waits a few seconds and it's going to give me the message, start work timer. I click on it and it says to do restarting timer, not really doing it yet. So we're getting closer, right? Now we have to send a message to the server that runs that user's timer and restart it. So let's do that. I think we should make a new command called restart. So here's timer server, and we have a command called start timer here, but let's have another one called restart timer. user ID. And we don't need to pass a duration on this because we'll just use the duration that we had in the very beginning, right? And so we'll do gen server dot call via tuple user ID because we want to get to the right gen server. Each user has its own timer process. And then here's the message, restart timer. And that's it. That's all, right? So just a restart timer message. That's going to come down and we have to write a handler here. That's going to look a lot like this. Oh no, start timer. This is... Wait, why do we have two? Start timer duration. Start timer.
Écoute, la situation est très...
I'm confused. Why do I have two of these?
C'est vraiment pas le moment de faire des blagues. Oh my god.
I think the second one is a mistake. Duration minute. I'm gonna comment this out because I don't see how this one will ever get called. It has the same shape as this guy. We're setting the... Yeah, this one's even not even doing anything. I guess it gives you the elapsed time. Do we give the elapsed time here? Start duration minute. Do. Oh, I have a when here. Whoops. Yeah, this is... I see. So they're not the same. This is... We call this for... called when the timer is already running. Alright. I just got confused. So our thing for this is going to look a little bit like that, except it's going to be called restart timer. And we get no duration. And there we go. So we know who the user is. Let's verify that the timer isn't running, right? So we should have something in here where, what is it called? Start. Let's move this down because I want to see this. Oops. Oops. I don't know where to put this actually. Let's put it up here. So, start time second. When the timer is done or not active, the value is nil. So here, this one is supposed to be nil when it's inactive. Start timer sec. Start time sec. So we go to our thing over here. And maybe I can do when state dot start time sec equals nil, right? So here we're saying like, hey, this one is nil, so like we can handle it. And then we'll have another version of this where it's not nil. Looks a little bit like this. It looks exactly like this. And then in here, this is an error, right? So let's do... we have to return some kind of error code, but we can do a logger.error, something like try to restart timer, but it's already running. So there's some kind of error here. Reply, we'll give it an error, timer already running, something like this. right? But the normal state here, we're happy, and and the birds are singing. We can do a debug message saying something like restarting timer for user state dot user state dot. Come on, help me out here. Why aren't you happy with my state? Maybe it's just confused? I wonder why it doesn't like me here. I compiled, so let us do this. Let's reply for now and just say like, okay. We have to update the state. Let's do that now before we forget. State, new state is equal, it's basically the old state. But we need to set the new timer. Start timer. What is it? System monotonic time second, right? That was down here. Oh crap, where'd I got lost. Here. Ah crap, I didn't copy it right. This was called system.monatomic time second. Alright, that's good enough. Monotonic time second, monotonic time second. Yeah, that's right. Monotonic time second. So that's right. So we've reset the start timer. Was there anything else we need to reset here? The user ID, channel ID, that's all good. Work duration doesn't change, break duration doesn't change. So that's all we need to change in there. Right? And then we return new state instead of state. Yeah. We're gonna have to extract this info handler here where we actually set the timer. Send after, wherever the send after was. Where's this handle call start timer? Yeah, we're gonna have to copy this also. Here, let's just do that now. So we're just gonna send ourselves another timer in 3 seconds, and it'll just start the whole process again. So let's see if this works. Oops. Line number 74, didn't like this. What did I do wrong? Oh. It's because I keep thinking I'm programming in Nix. It uses colons here. And now I can run Pomo timer 1010. 3 seconds later, it's going to send me a message. There we go. I click on start timer again. It says starting. Now 3 seconds later, I get a new message. Oh crap. Didn't work. So what do we know so far? We know that when we clicked on start work timer, it was able to see that, right? And that's in consumer. If we trace that. Okay, interactive start work timer. Here we go. Oh, I never call the thing. I never hooked it up here. So let us hook it up here. Send message to server requesting work start. That's what we need to do. So here we will call the server, and that is done by timer server dot Pomodoro timer server dot restart timer. Isn't that right here? Why are you not happy with it? Restart timer. Why can't you find that? What's wrong with you? Timer server. Did I type it in wrong? No, that's right. Usually a bad sign. And then we give it the user ID. So we have to uncomment the user ID here. Let's see why it doesn't like this. Mix compile. Tell me why you're not happy. Oh, you are happy. Maybe it's just the language server is confused. Let's see. Alright, so we got this. We get the message. I click here. We get this. In a few seconds, do we get a new one? Oh, timer is up. Look, we get this again. Right? Wait, look. I click on it. Restarting timer. 3 seconds later, I get this. Oh, here, look. It came up.
Oh non, j'aime pas ça.
Here's my content. Something seemed weird. Let me restart this one more time. Maybe I just didn't see it. Okay, so Pomo timer 10:10. We get the message. Break, right? So now I'll say trying again just so that we see what happens. I click on the work timer. Restarting. Oh, and it did work. So it did work. Okay, trying again. Work timer. And it did work. Alright, so what shouldn't work is if I click on the work timer twice while it's running. Remember we did that? So let's try to click twice real fast. Oh, something's not happy here. Why did it fail?
Mais quel enfer!
Was that you, Findus, by clicking on it?
Déjà, j'ai les actes de brutalité, j'ai les secours qui sont arrivés avant la police, ça je le sens pas.
My ID is this. And Findus's ID is... Oh, yeah, okay, so it was Findus clicking on it. That I'm good at, debugging who's doing stuff. Yeah, so this is basically saying you can't click on a restart because you don't have, you never started one. So you have to do the slash command first, and then you can start it. You know what I mean? So do the slash command first, pomo start, and then you can click on the thing. But I don't mind. Don't worry about it. I'm just glad that I figured out what was going on there. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on this twice really fast, once, and we click on it again. See, you see, we got this message, tried to restart timer, but it's already running, so that is good. That was our backup handler. So, but that is a really good point. We should probably check the user ID matches who it owns, right? We have that here. Check if the user ID who clicked on the button. So let's do this. That should happen on the timer server. So whenever we get a handle call here, like I guess really just restart. We have restarting timer. We have the user ID.
Ok, est-ce que la police peut faire quelque chose ici? Je pense pas. Là, il y a eu quoi? C'est le truc de la bombe. Ok.
We're not passing the interaction over in the handle call. So here is a little tricky. I think we have to pass the user ID in the handle call here. So when we do restart timer, this is the user ID. We're getting the user ID from the channel. No, that'll always work. It's always going to be routed to their own button, so that's okay. It's going to be a little weird because when they click start work timer, it's going to go to their... It's going to try to go to their timer. How strange is that? You know, in a way, like, I think that's okay. I'm just going to leave it. Hi, is Elixir related to Nix ecosystems? Not at all. It has an X in it, Dreams API, but Elixir is a language on, it's a functional programming language that's really great for concurrency. So it has this thing called like an actor model for concurrency, and that's why I like it a lot. Yeah, WhatsApp and Discord have used it. And it really doesn't have anything to do with Nix other than they're related in that Nix uses a functional programming language and so is Elixir. But other than that, you know, it's as close to, say, Nix and Lisp or something. They don't really have anything to do with each other. So yeah, it's just different things. I make videos on different things. So sometimes I do whatever. Right now, I kind of spread it out between assembly programming, Nix, Rust, Gleam, some game programming, and some Elixir programming too. This is just a project that someone asked me to do, so I'm trying to like finish it off. How's everyone doing? I'm gonna have more soda. Ça va avec le call 911?
Oh my god.
How do you win that game? Like, what do you have to do?
Chérie, c'est très grave ce qui se passe.
Why?
Oh putain, 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 putain. Là, c'est chaud là. Oh, c'est le capital. Ah, mais ils l'ont trouvé en plus. Ah non, là c'est bon. Oh, on l'a trouvé. On l'a capturé. Oh my god. Du coup, on va ramener les autres sur... Alors, non, ça c'est acte de brutalité. Tu vas te faire défoncer.
Alright, what was I doing? I totally forgot.
Oh my god. C'est horrible.
I'm restarting the timer. The restarting timer sort of works now, right?
Là, on va essayer d'envoyer...
So what should it say when you're restarting the timer? It should do the same thing that the first one does. So I think we have some code repeat issues here. What can you do with Elixir? I know you mentioned concurrency. Well, Elixir, like a lot of people use Elixir for with a package called Phoenix and LiveView. It's a really people who use it really like it. That's a web stack. And basically, I've never used it, but people who use it really like it. But for me, I like to use it, like I've used it as a game backend server for multiplayer games. I've used it for REST endpoints. Basically any kind of like server side stuff that you have, Elixir can be really good for that. Discord uses it for used. I don't know if they still use it, but they used it for their backend for all of these messages that are being sent back and forth. So that's what Elixir is about. And obviously, you're looking at an implementation of a Discord API on Elixir called Nostrum. All right, so here, what did I say? We want to actually say, like what we said the first time, timer start command received, right? Um, I guess I can create a message here. So where does the to-do one come from? To-do restarting timer. Here we go. Handle call, logger, restarting timer. But we don't say this here. We must say it in consumer, right? Yeah. Restarting timer. So here will give them a message and we'll say, we should look at the response here. And if the response is okay, because the restart timer what do we return? I think we return handle call restart. Here we are. We return reply okay or error, right? So here in consumer, we should check here. We'll do a case here. La la la. And we'll have the message here. Or content, I guess. And so if if it returned an okay, then the content is going to be timer restarted, right? Maybe we should put in the user's ID in here. So we have the user ID here. So we'll go, hey, @ then we put the user ID in here. So we do this, user ID, hey, blah, 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 timer restarted. And otherwise, if there was an error and reason, right, we say could not restart timer, reason equals, and then we'll print out the reason. We don't know if it's a string or not, so we're just going to do inspect reason. And then here, the content is going to be that content. There we go. Let's try to compile it and see if we get a better message now. I'm kind of coding very handicapped right now, or what do you call it, like messed up, because dialyzer's not working on my build. I should have spent time like fixing that earlier, but I don't want you guys to sit through me trying to fix dialyzer. It's just like Elixir version issues, which is a pain in the ass. So where am I? I can now run Pomodoro start 10:10. This will give me the message. And now when I click on restart timer, it says, hey Serene, timer restarted, you see? So that's nice. And I do it again. It says timer restarted. Perfect. So now what we'll do is we should get the break timer working, right? Let's look for, where's the to-dos? Check if used yet. We don't need that one, right? I don't think we need that one. We have other to-dos. Show buttons to take break. We do that.
Film mode carrière avec la
Handle button press. We need to handle break button press, right? So let's now handle the break timer. I think we're almost there, guys. Like, we only have like two more things to do and then some string cleanup. But we can start telling the guy to test it. Are any of you even out there? Is anyone out there? Let's see. Yeah, we got a couple. You guys are just really quiet. Help me stay awake. Is anyone here from the beginning? Oh, so it says restream on the thing. I can't see it from where I am.
You done too?
No, I'm not done. I have two more to-dos. But they're close. They're very close. Are you done?
I've done the... Yeah.
What do you mean you're done? With the game?
It was a bomb alert.
You got a bomb alert?
Yeah. And two bombs.
This is the game. This is not real FBI. Do not come after... Well, we're in France. What's the France FBI called? Who comes after you if there's a bomb alert? In France.
Comment ça s'appelle?
Comment s'appelle quoi?
Comment ils s'appellent les forces de l'ordre qui interviennent sur des...
They don't know. Like, you ask any American, they'll be like,
le
oh,
SWAT.
what? The SWAT.
Ou les CRS. Les CRS, pardon. Les CRS, voilà.
CRS. CRS?
Ouais, je pense. Je pense que les CRS, ils viennent.
What's C? Do you mean C?
Compagnie républicaine de sécurité.
CRS.
Ouais.
Alright.
C'est des gens qui ont des boucliers et tout ça, puis qui tapent sur les gens.
Good definition.
Yeah.
Alright, we just need a little bit of energy to write this last part. Keep track of break time. So how do we do that?
La DGSI.
Wait, you just told me 3 different names. You have no idea who comes for bombs.
Ah, bah, franchement, la DGSI, si, lutte contre le terrorisme, c'est dans ses missions. Donc c'est la direction gouvernementale de la sécurité intérieure, un truc comme ça. Direction générale de la sécurité intérieure. Donc oui, c'est eux qui vont envoyer des gens quand il y a de la bombe.
And they hit you.
Non, non. Ça va. Pour moi, ils sont plutôt dans les bureaux. Après, ils déploient des forces de police, mais...
Alright.
Nos organisations, cabinet, service de l'administration générale, enseignement et des opérations. Ah, le GIGN.
Alright, break timer. That we had our own break timer just now. Maybe we should actually commit our code because it's kind of working, right? Let's see. Yeah, let's commit our code.
Bon, bah, Bah, ouais. Okay.
Break, no, work timer, huh?
C'est le GIGN.
What was the other guys?
The guys, I think they're not army, so they're not really... No, the other guy, la DGSI, je pense que c'est le bureau où se...
Wait, so you were sure before, though? Like, who they were. Now...
No, I know, I was doubting, I said they send people, but not themselves to the field. But I was wrong about who they sent. They sent the GIGN.
Alright, now we know.
Yeah.
And do they hit people?
Le GIGN, non, pas trop, non. C'est des...
They're nice guys.
Eux, ils tapent les méchants. Les CRS, pas toujours.
Who are the guys who hit the guys? Hit people?
Les CRS?
CRS?
Dans les manifs.
Oh, they throw the
les armes
what is that called? Tear gas.
Lacrymogène.
Remember we felt that once? Remember with the eyes?
Ambiance.
All right. Now we're going to add
Ah là là là.
the break timer in here. We have the
Ils ont
break
même un
time
Instagram.
duration, right? That gets
Les
passed
génies.
in. So what do we
Ils ont
need?
la neige.
When we start the break timer, the timer should be set to the break timer and not the other timer. So let's figure this out. Start timer. I wonder.
De quoi? GIGN, c'est la gendarmerie, donc c'est l'armée.
Maybe what we need to
Si tu
do
tapes dans
is we
Internet
just keep
gendarmerie
track
nationale,
of the duration.
armée.
It's basically like how long. It's going to be one of these two values, but it's the one we're using right now. Because we could keep a state here that says, are we on work or are we on break? But why don't we just keep, why don't, like, if we're doing the work timer, we'll just move the timer into duration, right? So why don't we try that? So duration will be either work or break duration, depending on which timer was started, right? So that means duration. So we start the timer. This is all good. We don't need to change that. Init, we don't need to change that. But when we start the timer here,
What the fuck?
yeah, this is the one where we're actually starting the timer. We need to
Là, c'est
set
pas
the
bizarre,
duration here now,
c'est une
right?
façon de les fixer, je pense. Les corps armés, les armées ils dépensent beaucoup d'argent
Duration is going to be
pour recruter
duration minute.
de nouvelles recrues. À l'époque,
Oh, we're
suite,
only ever
je
passing duration for the work timer right now.
sur ces comptes-là.
That's kind of bad. We'll have to figure this out, but I think this is fine right now the way I'm doing it. So we're passing the duration in here.
Elles sont clean les photos, elles sont vraiment.
And we're gonna have to do.
Ils vendent bien leurs trucs, je pense. J'imagine que ça en fait frissonner quelques-uns. Bon, moi, je t'avoue que ça m'attire pas plus que ça.
Yeah, I think this is fine. We're still using 3000 as fixed, but this will basically be duration. And then start timer here when it's already running.
Oh là là.
We want to look at the duration, right? Let's see. Current time elapsed time equals current time. Yeah, this doesn't need to change actually. Restart timer. The restart timer doesn't tell it which button is pressed. So this is the problem right now. Restart timer is going to have to tell you if it's doing work or break. So let's write that down. Should I just put in there to do?
Oh là là.
When calling restart timer, we need to know if we are restarting work or break timer. Okay. So let's do that.
Ouais, bref. Est-ce que j'ai envie d'en refaire une partie? Je sais pas, je pense que je vais faire une petite pause.
I think all of these are good. So now when we call restart, let's look for that. Restart timer. We're going to need to know, are they starting work? State. Which timer, right? We'll call it which timer. Work or... I don't know how to say this. Work or break. pass in timer, which is either work or break. And if I had dialyzer running, we'd want something like restart timer and user ID, which is nostrum.struct.user.id, and a timer, which is going to be either work or break. And what do we return? I forget what we return here. I think we return either OK or error and a reason, like a string, I think. So that's what it would look like if dialyzer was working, which helps us type check, but I didn't get it working for this. Restart timer. Right, so now we're passing the timer here, and we should pass the timer here. Yes? Oh, you want to pass by your cup? Look how pretty this cup is. It's so pretty. Okay, so this is the timer we're passing, which means that the restart timer function will have to handle it, which is here. It's going to be passing in the timer. And over here it gets passed in a timer also. Okay, so now here we want to know what the duration is, right? So we'll switch based on timer here. And so we'll basically say duration is equal to, and if timer is equal to work, then we're going to return, what was that called? State dot work duration minute. State dot work duration minute. Yo, how you doing? Blocks Hub Roblox. It's good to see regular people. I'm really happy to see you. And then we have I'm doing well. I answer without an answer. Doing well. I think we're cooking here. Now we have a break, then we do break duration minute. I think that's the word. Work duration minute, break duration minute. Right. So we're going to return the appropriate duration here. And then we're going to send after. Maybe we should get rid of this timer now, right? Duration. No, we're going to have to start testing the duration. So let's do that. Duration. But duration is supposed to be in milliseconds here, so we're going to have to multiply the minutes to 60 seconds times 1000 here. And that'll send us a message after that time. And then we also have to set our duration time here now to duration. Right? That's how we now have a new duration. Are we using duration anywhere? I feel like I'm not. I don't even I think we use it in elapsed time maybe. Let's see. No, we don't even use it in elapsed time. So I'm beginning to think we don't need duration. because all of that's handled by the send after. Duration minute, duration minute, duration, work duration minute. Yeah, we don't need this duration here.
Je vais demander de répéter. Je vais demander de répéter s'il y a une invitation. Parce que j'avais pas encore son adresse.
Duration minute. Candle call duration equals. Yeah, I think this is good.
D'avoir son adresse.
And we don't need this either.
Localiser et après j'ai pu déployer
All right.
la police.
Are you guys still talking about the police? What are you eating?
Snacky snack.
I have a snacky snack too. Pringles. I usually get the cheese or something, cream cheese flavor, but they don't have any. This will probably like make noise. Ooh. Did they see that?
Allez. Combien de voitures? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you, Blocks Hub Roblox.
Non, 1, 2, 3.
All right. Let's see if this compiles.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, doesn't like that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Timer server 89. We don't care about this timer because it's already running. And then on line 65 of consumer, we have to pass the duration. No, we have to type the type work or handle event start work timer. So now here we have to say work to say we want to start a work timer. All right, let's see if this works. The issue I'm going to have is that because we're using the real timer in the second time, like, okay, here's 3000, right? The start timer we call with 3 seconds. But then when we do the restart timer, we're actually going to use the real seconds. Maybe it's too long. So if I type, why don't we treat it like seconds for now? So if I say 1, we'll just multiply it by 1,000 instead of turning it into minutes. So if I type 1, it'll just mean 1 second for restarting. What was that?
Huh?
What was that?
Achoo.
That was a sneeze?
Yeah.
Ah, tes souhaits.
Okay.
Alright, so let's see if any of this works. We made a lot of changes. I feel kind of iffy about some of this. So we'll start it with 5, which means 5 seconds now, right? Break is 1. Okay, so that was about 5 seconds. So now it's done. So we do 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. That's about right. Huh? In English you do like Mississippi. That's how you count seconds. How do you do it in French? You want to count like seconds. Like, hey, wait 10 seconds. What would you count? How would you count it?
Mississippi.
You say Mississippi?
Je sais pas comment vous avez une technique, vous? Comptez les secondes avec un mot.
They have nothing to count seconds with. And they say French is a good language. Alright, let's try with 10 seconds to make sure that it's actually respecting the thing. So 10, the first time it's only going to do 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, right. And now when I restart, it'll be 10. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. See, it's like perfect. Mississippi is the perfect word for timing. All right, so we'll also do that for the first one because we weren't using this, right? So we'll go ahead. We're gonna use this, but we'll turn them into seconds for now also. We'll call this to do multiply by 60 for minutes. And we'll do that, where was it, here? Yeah. Multiply by 60 for minutes. All right. So we're not doing break yet, right? Let's check if break is working. Are we even passing break? Are we passing break when we create one of these? Let's see, that would happen inside of the supervisor. When we say start timer server, okay, we're starting the timer server. Yeah, we're not ever passing the break time. That would be passed in from start timer server, and then we start timer work duration. You see, we never pass the break duration in here. So we're going to have to pass that work duration, and we need to pass the break duration. What was that? What does that mean? What's the problem? What do we do wrong? Now we're going to pass in also the break duration minute. When we start, start timer now needs to get passed in this stuff. Here we are. So we got past start work duration minute and break duration minute. Is that where we're doing it? Whoa. Yeah, here's timer start. We pass. Oh, no, that's not what I want. We're getting all confused here. So start link channel. Where's our start timer? Start timer. Work duration break. So where's that happen? That happens from the beginning of the file. Here we are. Call start timer work duration break. Right. Okay. So that's where we're passing it. And then who calls this? This is being called from consumer, right? Start timer work duration. So we need to call work duration, comma, break duration. And break duration we got from here. Yeah, break duration. So start timer now gets past all of these things. This is all hooked up. Start, but then we call the gen server here, start timer. We pass in break. Now we have to store it. Here, we do it here. It gets stored. First we have to make work timer really work timer. And we also have to make break duration minute into break duration minute. There we go. There should be a comma here. Yeah. I think that's the state names, right? Work, breaks, let me see. Work, break, yeah, those are the state names. So now we're saving this number in the state so we can access it later. So now when we call restart timer, if it's a break, we can actually access this break duration minute. It should be correct. And that's duration. And then yeah, this looks correct. So let's test this out, okay? We'll make the work duration 1 second, which will be very fast. And we'll make the break duration 10 seconds, which will feel very long. So that way we'll know the big difference between the two. And also, I really like the idea that your work is a lot shorter, a tenth of the time, 10% of your break. That's the goal. Even like bigger, 1%, you know? All right, so let's see if this compiles. Let's make sure everything's saved. Everything is saved. Now let's try to compile, see that there's no errors. There is an error. Undefined variable, yeah, I didn't get all of them. This is in timeserver.ex, line 58. So timer's up, duration minute. How does this work? Send a message. Yeah, this one should be work because the very first time you start the timer, we're going to use the work duration minute. You don't start your your work with a break. So we'll do that. So that's that. And then where was the second place? It was in line 53. We're outputting duration minute. We don't need this anymore. This is just debugging. Alright. Alright, that compiles, and now we can run it. You didn't see my website, want to check today? Oh, I asked you last time, and you never answered in that stream. So let's do that. Yeah, let's do that today. As long as it's a safe website, you know? So where am I? Pomo, so these are seconds. 1 second for work and 10 seconds for breaks. So let's see. Here we go. 1 second later. Yep, it's done. So if I do work again, it should be 1 second. Done. 1 second. Done. Now if I take a break, it should be 10 seconds. Let's see. Please work. Oh, we never wrote a handler for break. Almost there. No, did we? I thought we did. Let's check. So we need to catch the break handler for restart timer. No, that's in consumer. We need to go here and look. Create interaction. Yeah, here's the start work timer. But we don't have one for break timer. I guess it's like really a waste of code, like copying, but whatever. We don't have, life is short, right? So here we're just going to change this to be start break timer because that was the name of the button. It's going to match this function. Yeah. And now it'll send break here instead of work. We are on break. Woohoo! Right? Here we go. I'm not a bad guy. Hey, there's not safe for work and it's still okay, you know? I just doesn't mean you're a bad guy. All right. Now let's see here. So work is 1 second. Let's do break is 5. So here we go. Work is short. Look how short work is. And now we do break. Break. Woohoo! 3, 4, 5. Work. You see, there it goes. Now if I click work again, it'll be short. 1 second. Break is long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So I think we're done. Obviously, this content is really ugly. We should add the users. Let's add the ping on all of these. So here is my content. Where is that? Let's put in the user's ID here. Do I have that? Yeah, I have that. I have that in the state. So we'll say timer up, right? Hey, you need to do that. It looks like this with the ID in here, right? Like when you want to ping somebody in Discord. Timer is up. Good job. And now we put their ID in here. So we'll do this. And it's state dot user ID. Should share now, but because okay. We're done. I'm just gonna test this and then we're done. Sorry it's so late for you. So let's see. Pomodoro 1 5. Timer started. Hey, you see it called me here and it says good job and I do a break. We're on break. And then it pings me again. All right, so I think this is good enough for what we're aiming for. We have a Pomodoro timer. We will just say that when it's done, yeah, we did this. Keep track of break time, handle break button press. All right, I think we're done. Do we have any to-dos left? Oh, right, so we should add times 60 here to make it real. And where was the other to do? Now these will be minutes. Mix compile to make sure I didn't fuck up the thing. Yeah, send me the link blocks so I can look at it. And now I'll just commit this. If you don't want to share everywhere, then can you go on to Discord and DM me? Where am I? Commit. Okay. I would say first working version. Text is really ugly, but functionality should mostly be there. Alright, so that is live and you can find it on GitHub on one of my repositories. Where is it? GitHub. Pomodoro bot. So there's the URL. It should, in case you want it, there it is. Please don't judge. I won't judge. I mean, what do you want me to do? I thought you kind of want me to judge. There's the GitHub if you want to look at it. And there's the previous video where we did this too, right? So, if you want to see this from scratch, go look at the previous video where we were doing Elixir stuff. It's only like a day or two ago. Maybe it was yesterday. I have no idea. So yeah, to do. I thought we did this. Why is it not so? Did I not change the README? Oh, I didn't save this. That's why. you send me the link? Blocks? Alright, there we go. So we should be good. I think we're done. We might clean this up a bit, like in terms of messaging, maybe put some embeds in there so it's prettier. Maybe add some extra commands like cancel timer, whatever, but you get the basic idea. That's there. That's Elixir doing Discord stuff. If you have any comments, like how to improve, because I don't think I did it exactly right. Well, perfectly, obviously, and I didn't like clean up the code, but there you go. Any questions, feel free to join my Discord and ask me directly. And if you're watching this as a VOD, please do like, follow, and subscribe. I think that's it for today. Thank you.